watch this. Gonna show you how. Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Keeping it steady. Going till the lights out. Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Ready, ready. Ready right now. Gonna make a scene. Strike like lightning, you know what I mean. About to blow your mind, yeah. Watch us, gonna show you how. Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Keeping it steady, going till the lights out. Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Oh, 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 oh. Just watch this. Oh, 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 oh. Just watch this. Hey! Tell me, are you ready? Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Tell me, are you ready? Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Keeping it steady. Going till the lights out. Ready, right now. Tell me, are you ready? Ready, ready right now. Ready, ready. Ready, ready right now.
All right, good evening and good morning and good afternoon to all of you, whoever you are, wherever you are in the world. It is an absolute pleasure to be here with you tonight on the Science of Becoming Rich Masterclass. It is such an honor to have so many people here. We have hundreds and hundreds of people tuning in for this month's Source Masterclass. If you're a Source member, then hello, welcome back. We love that we provide this content to you every single month here inside the Source. And if you are a Source member, I would advise you to stay to the end because I have a little surprise for you. Now, there are lots and lots of you are brand new tonight. You may not have ever heard of me. My name is Kim Calvert. I'm a high performance mentor helping individuals just like you really move from feeling stuck, confused, tired, deflated, broke, all of those feelings to living a life of abundance on your terms, feeling fulfilled, feeling worthy, and living just an experiencing life. That's what I really think this is about. This life is here to be experienced, to be enjoyed, and to be lived to the absolute max. So I'm so grateful you're here, and I'm looking forward to really sharing some pretty awesome concepts, principles, and age-old wealth wisdom. Many of you may not be completely new to personal development. Some of you might be new. Now, as I said, I'm going to weave my story in and out throughout tonight's session because this is not about me. This is about you. The purpose and the reason that I've put on this masterclass with this theme is because I think there is no better time in this world, in this existence, that we need to learn to understand money, understand how it operates, and understand how your mindset, your thinking is completely in control. You can create your own economy. And these are some principles that I have learned from having studied this material for over 8 years. So I am talking not only from experience, not only from knowledge, but from application. And I have done these principles, and I'm going to share with you tonight on myself. And I have been doing that for 8 years. And my goodness, what a difference that has created in my life. Probably where I was 8 years ago, some of you will resonate with. Some of you might. Some of you may be in a way better place than where I was. But I was in a real place of feeling stuck, of feeling tired, of feeling broke, of feeling unworthy. In fact, my greatest belief was that I was unlovable. I had a real self-image problem, a real issue of who I was. And of course, that was limiting me and that was costing me, and I didn't even know it because 8 years ago, I had no awareness on the things that I'm going to share with you tonight. I had no understanding on what money is, what riches is. And that really held me back. And thankfully, at the age of 28, even though I was in a place of being very broke, £4.20 to my name, I made a decision. I was never going to be broke again. I was never going to allow what was going on outside of me to control what was going on inside of me. And that's really what this is about. As I say, we have hundreds of people watching this right now. And that tells me one thing. It tells me that you want to understand how to become rich. Now, there's a lot of people that I would probably say also seen this advertised and thought, oh no, I don't want to talk about being rich. Rich is nothing to do with it. Money's not important. Oh, all she thinks about is money. And there's one thing you're going to learn about me. I am extremely transparent. I work with 3 core values in everything that I do. I'm transparent. I come from a place of love and from a place of integrity. And a lot of people might have seen this, and maybe there's some in here, I don't know, maybe you're skeptical, maybe you're wondering, can you really, like, does your mind really control your money? Well, the truth is tonight is about becoming rich. But that word rich could mean anything. That could be in your bank account. That could be in your relationship. That could be in your health. That could be in any area of your life. So I want you to really be here with an open mind. Okay. I want you to shut off all distractions. Okay. Tell the kids they can go and do something. Tell people that are maybe watching the TV and you're sitting on the sofa with your earphones in. I do know that happens. Go to another room, grab a notebook, grab a cup of tea if you so wish, and really log in and listen to what I'm going to share with you tonight. Because this is not my information. This is information, as I said, it's been pretty much around since the beginning of time. You're going to find it in so many old ancient books. In fact, here's one of the original copies of Think and Grow Rich. Really old wisdom. In fact, all of this information is free, technically. I'm doing this for free. And you can go to a library and get all this information. Where the problem lies is in understanding how to use it. And that's where I'm really going to bring awareness to so many people tonight. So I ask you to really shut off distractions, be here with an open mind. I am going to challenge your beliefs, your thinking. That's my job as a mindset mentor. I'm supposed to get you to go, I'm supposed to get you to question things, and please do. As I say, have a notebook with you, write down things that I'm going to be sharing with you. You're going to want to go over this masterclass. You're going to get a replay of this regardless, but I want you to go over it and really take notes down. Set intentions as you move into this call. Now, some people might ask, what is an intention, Kim? An intention is basically, why are you here? What do you want to get out of this? As I say, I have been doing this for 8 years. My clients, and I've worked with thousands and thousands of people across the world in a very short space of time, really relative to life, 8 years. And we're seeing people completely and utterly change their lives, their circumstances, and their conditions because they stopped allowing circumstances and conditions to control them. They started allowing their mindset to create their results. And they've been able to quadruple their income. They've been able to multiply, bring in greater quarters year on, year out. And I am talking about money, but we also have people who have attracted the love of their life, have attracted perfect health. So whatever riches might mean to you, I want you to really sit now in your notebook and ask yourself, why did I show up? What do I want to get out of this tonight? Just put down one intention. Just write that down now. Don't think it in your head. Get involved and really write at the top of the page, Science of Becoming Rich Masterclass, intention. That is why you are here. Now, I can't look at all of your notebooks, right? You can let me know in the chat box because I have that open here and I'm going to be looking at that and trying to do as much as I can and looking at that and again, coming back to you. But really ask yourself, what's your intention? If you want to share in the chat, please go ahead because I want to hear from you and I want you to be involved and a part of this. Why are you here this evening? Okay, I want to grow in awareness, money. I want to join you in mentorship, great intention. To become rich, to get out of my own way, abundance, financial success, financial freedom. Good, okay. And I mean, I would kind of expect that because you signed up to a masterclass that said the science of becoming rich. Now, the funny thing is, I've helped all of my clients generate and multiply their income, turn annuals into monthlies, start out on a dream, create the desire, even if you're starting from absolute scratch. I want you to realize that tonight, whether you are in business, not in business, you're employed, maybe you don't even have work, this is appropriate for everyone. And I want to say that from the outset. But the truth is, in me helping all of my clients multiply their income, we never talk about money. And the reason I don't talk about money strategies, I don't talk about money as in the physical medium of exchange, but I've been able to help people multiply their income in huge amounts, attract ideal clients if they are in business, attract incredible rich ideas if they're only starting out. Whatever level you're at, the actual truth is it's nothing to do with money. It is all to do with you. It's got to do with your mindset and how you think about money. So this is really going to be, I think, very interesting for you because a lot of the information, in fact, probably all of the information that I'm going to share with you tonight, you will not have heard. And even if you have been, maybe you've even heard me speak about it before, I want you to really ask yourself right at the outset, are you earning the money that you really want to earn? And that is a yes or a no answer. You would even write down the money that you're earning. Now, if the answer is no, and even if you've heard me teach this, even if you're one of my clients who's joining in for more, because you know this is such rich information, understand that everything I say, even though it's going to sound actually ridiculously simple, you possibly simply don't understand it enough yet. Because in everything that I know and everything that my mentor Bob Proctor taught me about prosperity principles, about developing a prosperous, abundant consciousness, is that it all comes down to awareness and understanding. And that's really what I'm going to bring most of all to you tonight in this masterclass. I'm going to be talking about some of the major money myths, because there's a lot of those out there. And I'm also then going to break down the 3 key secrets or hacks to riches. So that's what we're going to be going over tonight. Now, the truth really is, and I love Bob. I mean, if you don't know Bob Proctor, he was America's #1 prosperity teacher. He was the greatest teacher around the laws of attraction. In fact, he was the guy that has lived the longest, having studied these principles around wealth and prosperity that has ever lived. And I had such a pleasure of being his #1 student. I had the pleasure of having this incredible master teacher take me under his wing and teach me everything that he knew. And that will never get old and saying. I am so grateful that I made a decision one day to seek out a mentor, to seek out someone who had demonstrated in results they knew what they were talking about and could show me a scientific process. And that's why I called tonight the science of becoming rich. Here's the good news. You don't need anything at this point. You don't need another piece of paper. You don't need another degree. You don't need the approval of parents or loved ones. You don't need anybody to understand. You actually don't need very much because just like what Bob taught me, you were born rich. And what does that mean? I love Bob's quote. He says, everyone was born rich, but most people are a little bit short on cash. And I think that is so true. I mean, if you just look out into the world right now, there's a lot of talk about money, but it's not the most positive conversation, shall we say. If you go into your local shop, you will see it on the papers. If you turn on the TV, you'll see it on the news. If you just bump into somebody that you haven't seen in ages, the first thing you say to them is, oh, hello, how are you? And about 10 minutes later, you're kind of regretting asking. Because a lot of people talk about doom and gloom, and this is not working, and this is not good. And it's not often. And by the way, this is not me mocking anyone. This is not me putting anyone down. It is kind of a reality for a lot of people. And this is where we've got to understand that it is the thinking that is the problem, not money. I think if you ask most people right now, they would say, there's a money problem right now. There's lack. And actually, there's not. Now, that already is like a big, whoa, okay, hold on a minute, Kim, because when I do turn on the TV and when I do look at the newspapers, and better yet, when I look at my bank balance, I'm telling you there's a money problem. There isn't a money problem. There's a thinking problem around money. And that's where tonight is going to open you up to understanding that you were born rich. You have all of the energy, all of the potential, all of the talents right inside you. But the problem is, you do not know that. You do not understand. Like, I can sit hand on heart, even if I've never met you, and we've hundreds of people here tonight. I know that you have got something within you, that there is something pushing you, nudging you. It might even still be a wee bit of a whisper, or it might be really loud, telling you there's got to be a better way. There's got to be an easier way. And I think every single one of you, and I think the population and humanity right now are realizing, hold on a minute. This isn't what they all told us. They told us different things like work hard and get a good education and everything's going to be okay. And these are the myths that I'm going to talk about tonight. So to get you to understand that it's our thinking that is the problem, not the amount of money that's in the world. You have infinite potential within you. You have a mindset. Now, I didn't know this stuff. Now, just to give you a bit of background, I was a mental health nurse. I was a clinical nurse specialist working in the field of psychology for nearly 10 years, about 9.5 years. So I went to university, I got the degree, I studied mental health, not per se mindset, but really, when you even think of that, how ridiculous is that? I didn't actually study the mind. And yet there I was helping people with mental health. Now, I'm not, again, putting anyone down. I'm not putting education down. I'm not putting employers down. I'm not even putting governments down, because you don't know what you don't know. And what I realized very quickly was that I couldn't give what I didn't have. And there was me trying to help people, but I really didn't understand the mind. I didn't understand anything about money because I was not taught it in school. I guarantee you did not go to a class in primary school or high school or even at university that taught you, like, the money class. This is what money is. This is how you bring it into your life. This is how we were taught to count and invest, basically move the money about. But none of us were taught what money is. And that's a pretty shocking thing. And then you wonder why potentially there are these difficulties around money in the world. Nobody understands it. Now, you being even on this masterclass tells me that you're the person that could make, honestly, and I say this truthfully, you could make a huge impact on this world. Now, most of you are probably here because you want to make a huge impact on your own life first, and that's definitely where I suggest that you start. But essentially, what you realize when you really start to understand money, yes, there's two purposes: live the life that you want, but then the only other purpose for money is to extend the good to others. That's something that I've certainly learned. So I want you to know that you have this powerful mindset, and your mindset, without a doubt, and I'm going to explain this tonight, your mindset controls the amount of money that you earn and bring into your life. So you actually control the money. And yet, again, that's not what we were taught to believe. I was certainly brought up to believe that you work hard and you earn money through a job. And if you get a pension and a good government job, even better. So I was like ticking all the boxes. But what I realized was, well, I worked really hard, I got the degree, but I was broke at the end of every month. No matter how many extra hours I did, no matter how many extra qualifications I got, when it really boiled down to it, the end of every month, I was kind of watching when payday was coming in. Do you know, I haven't asked that question in over 8 years. When's payday? That used to be like my favorite question. I would ask pretty much the whole month from we got paid. Now, as I say, many of you may not have been in the situation that I was in, but I would also say many of you are, because the stats are, and this is pretty huge, so write it down. 97% of the population earn 3% of all the money. And 3% of the population earn 97% of all the money. Now, that's a pretty shocking statistic, but it is absolutely accurate. And again, you just need to look outside to see that. Now, you've got to ask yourself, why is 3% of people earning 97? And then 97 are only earning 3. What's the difference between the 3% mindset and the 97? They think and operate differently. And I know this firsthand because I work with some of those 3%ers. I work with some of the 1%ers. And they think so differently to how even I remember that I used to think. So you've got to realize that this is kind of outweighed. But the lovely thing is, it is only your mindset that is separating you. You were born into this beautiful world, and you, like everybody else that was born, you had no money. You had no concept of money. And yet somewhere along the line, you've picked up beliefs and different conceptions around what money is. And it's those beliefs that are taking you through life. Okay? Now, I can resonate, and I would say many of you will feel this, but I got to the point where I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. Many of you have heard my story of when I realized that the £4.20 standing in the pet shop, I couldn't afford the dog food, yet I was doing all the stuff that I was told to do. That was my wake me up moment. That was that moment when, boom, I just said, no. It wasn't just a fleeting thought of, oh, I wish I could do more, or I wish I could earn more money. I had made a committed decision. I'm not doing this anymore. There has got to be a better way. I could feel the feeling inside of me that there just couldn't be like this. I also seen other people, and you know of people that have no education and they're very successful. And then you know a lot of people that have degrees coming off the end of their card, they've went back to university, they've got masters, and they are not earning the money that they thought they would or that they possibly could. So I was seeing people earning maybe 100 times more. But is it because they're 100 times smarter? Is it because they're 100 times more time? No, their awareness was 100 times greater. They were aware of how to earn 100 times more. And this was the concept that I had never heard of. So I literally, when I came across Bob Proctor and I was sitting, I sold my car to go and work with this man. I knew this is done. I've got to change my life. And many people would not just quit their job. Like I literally just said, I'm done with work. I'm quitting being a nurse, a good job that if my parents, I didn't run home and tell them because there would have been an intervention. But I'm now selling my car to get just a little bit of money to invest in me. I had never invested in myself. I had invested in lots of other things outside of me. And that's when I started to then learn what money is and these myths that were holding me back. So I'm going to take you over 3 myths that you might have come across, and it will really help you now reframe and actually start to think, where did I come up with all these monies or all these money kind of blocks? And we hear about this money blocks, money paradigms. That is just basically terminology of a belief. You believe something that is repelling money from you. Now, as I said, when you were only born with 2 fears: the fear of loud noises and the fear of falling. Now, I would say many people, you maybe right now, have a fear that really is what's underpinning the money. If you were to look at all the symptoms in your life that aren't going the way you want them to go, you can always bring them right back to fear. Now, the question is, if you weren't born with this fear, especially around money, or thinking money is not good, or thinking money isn't important, where did it come from? You weren't born with it. Where did this maybe fear of not being worthy enough, not being good enough, not having the confidence to go and do what you really want to do, where did it come from? You weren't born with it. You picked it up along the way. Your belief system, it's what went on in your environment. If you were brought up in a home that talked about lack and limitation, and I'm not saying your parents meant to, they didn't know any better, but if they were saying, well, where's the money going to come from? And how are we going to do that? And maybe you even heard mom and dad arguing. Then as you as a little child growing up, you are feeding all of this information through your thinking that money is hard to come by, hard to keep. You got to work hard to get it. And these myths have been going down through generation and generation. That's why you see people follow on in behaviors, especially even what they earn. It just continues. So the number one money myth, I'm going to give you three. We're going to go through three of these points, and I'm just going to give you little nuggets that can help you reframe how you think about money. Number one, did anyone ever hear money is the root of all evil? Think about that. Did you ever hear something along those lines? Money's the root of all evil. You should just be grateful for what you have. Yeah, some people are saying yes. Well, I certainly heard that growing up. And actually, if you go and really read the text, it says it is the love of money is the root of all evil. One of the most important principles that you must understand about money is that you should love people, use money, not love money and use people. Money gets a bad rap. You just need to watch movies. It's always the bad guys that have all the money. They're always doing bad things, killing people to get money. Like money has this bad kind of connotation around it. Now, I think that that's a very general perception, but it's pretty common as well. And we see this in even media, even things that go on in the world. And we think money is bad. And we should just be grateful for what we have. You absolutely should be grateful for what you have. But you should never be totally satisfied. Now that sometimes throws people off and they go, well, I don't know what I think about that. You should just be content with what you have. Other people don't have that. And you're correct, logically. But people that don't have it are just as rich as what you are. They just don't know also how to create the right thinking to create abundance. They're not led maybe by people that are thinking about the people, they're being led by money. So one of the most important things that you must get right about money from the outset is that you are the master and money is the servant. If money ever becomes the master of you, then that automatically makes you the servant. That means that money is going to make the decisions in your life. That means money is going to come before love, before people. And you can talk about that in a range of different ways. A simple way is, do you let the amount of money you earn dictate your lifestyle? I would say a lot of people do, because that's what we've all done. I did that as I grew up as well. I have this amount of money, so I can only go and buy this, or I can only go on one holiday a year. I always let the money dictate what I would do with my life, what decisions I would make. And I always was limiting my lifestyle to meet my income until Bob said, but Kim, why don't you raise your income to meet the lifestyle that you really desire? Now that seems pretty obvious, but it was really the first time I'd ever thought of it. And my first thing was, yeah, but I'm never going to earn that sort of money. And Bob says, okay, yeah, you're not. And I'm going, what? He says, well, you're going to earn whatever you think you can earn. And if you don't think you can earn the money, then you'll never earn the money. And this was starting to play about in my mind. I was always thinking, because Bob said to me, just like I'm saying to you, you could literally turn your annual income into a monthly income if you learned how to do that. You became aware of it. Now, when he said that to me, I laughed in Bob Proctor's face, and that was not such a great move. I says, but the NHS is never going to pay me. I was earning 35,000 a year. The NHS is never going to pay me 35,000 a month. Trust me. And of course, he looked at me and he says, yeah, you're probably right. But do you understand that the money that you earn comes through a business or service? I thought it came from the business or service. Now, what I'm meaning by that, and I want you to really realize it, is there are other ways to earn money. There are better ways to earn money. I was trading time for money. That's called a job. Many of you are trading time for money. And whether you like your job or not is irrelevant. You're only ever going to earn the amount of hours that you work. And there's only so many hours that you can work. So ultimately, your earning is going to be capped. And even if you work all of that time and earn a lot of money, then you got no time to spend it. And I think we'll all agree, time is actually the most important commodity. That's why I say it's actually nothing to do with the money. It's the thinking behind the money that is critical. It's actually time freedom that we're really, truly desiring. So I want you to realize that money is not evil. Money is not bad. Money is just money. Now, don't get me wrong. Are there some people in the world doing not so great things with money? Yeah, that will happen. But that's nothing to do with the money. I want you to start to take money as a separate subject. Time is not money. That is an absolute myth. Okay? If you choose to think that, then yes, time will equate to money. But who said that had to be the way? You just heard that from somebody, and then you've thought it, and then you've believed it, and then you probably pass it on to somebody else. And this is how these beliefs start to get happening. I want you to realize that money is a magnetizer. And this is myth number 2. Money doesn't make you happy. How many people have heard that or have said that? Money doesn't make you happy. Well, I would tend to agree and disagree with that. And I'll explain it. I just said money is a magnetizer. Do you know what that means? Money will make you more of who you are. If you are a happy person, you're going to be happier. If you are an unhappy person and you get a pile of money, you're probably going to make decisions that are going to make you actually more unhappy. So write down, money is a magnetizer of who you are. If you're not a good person and you get a pile of money, you're not going to do good stuff. If you are a good person and you create money, then you're going to do good with it. So this is what now separates that money's got actually nothing to do really with happiness. Happiness is an inside job. That's to do with your thinking. Money will just magnetize that. So separate those two. Money is also very important. So in with that, it doesn't make you happy. It's not really important. It's vitally important. Not many people like to talk about money. When I was growing up, maybe you were the same. You did not talk about money, like ever. My parents didn't talk about it unless they were maybe saying, we don't have this or how we're going to do that. But if you ever earned money, like I remember when I got my first job, when you're a teenager and you get your first job, like I distinctly remember my dad actually saying to me, no, you don't talk about what you earn. You don't share that. Was anybody else like that or was it just me? But you just did not talk, you didn't share about money, it always made this real awkward feeling and just nobody talks about it. And that is where we're going wrong because the truth is we're all talking about it. The problem is we're all talking about what we don't have. We're all talking about the lack of money. And when we say things like, oh, well, it's not about the money and money's not important, we're affirming to ourselves, money's not important to me, and you wonder why money doesn't visit you. One of the analogies I always use with my clients is think of money as a friend, right? And the way that you think about it, the way that you treat it, the way that you feel about it If that was a person, would that person want to hang around you? Isn't that a really interesting way to think about it? Maybe you've got negative thoughts about money. And maybe you've got them for great reasons because you've maybe seen it and experienced it, but it's also in the past. And if you're allowing the past to really shape your thoughts in the now, I can tell you in the future, you're going to get more of the past. Because that's how our mind, that's how the world operates. You become what we think about. So if money was this friend and you're always going, oh, I have another bill and I don't have this and I don't have that. And if only we had this, everything would be better. If you had that attitude towards a person, I would probably say that person wouldn't want to hang around you. I love this because Bob always said, Kim, money can't talk, but it can listen. And I always thought that was the weirdest thing, quote, in my ignorance. I had no idea what that meant. It can listen. Yeah, it listens to your energy about it. Your attitude to money will be money's attitude to you. And this is why it's important that you start to actually talk about money in a positive way. You start to, yes, I mentioned earlier, be grateful for what you have. You know, some people say to me, Kim, you just need to be grateful for what you have. That's all that matters. And I say, absolutely, because if you're not grateful for what you have, why would you ever receive more? But really ask yourself, and this is a question to you, when is the last time you honestly, intentionally give thanks for what you have? We practice an attitude of gratitude here in Dynamite Lifestyle, here inside the source. We even have that availability for you guys here. And adopting this success habit, and it's a wealth habit, gives you an opportunity every day to sit down and be grateful for what you have. I work with a lot of individuals who are in business. And when you're in business, you want more business and you want more sales and you want more clients. And I always find the interesting thing is that often we really, really want clients, but it's usually driven by the fear of not having enough clients and this need, because people don't understand that there is no lack in this universe and we panic. That's why fear is such a crippling mental problem, because we live in a world that we believe that there is a lack of money. There is no lack of money. Do you know why? Because money's energy. And energy is ever present in all places at the same time. There's always been the same amount of money that there's ever been and ever will be. It just moves from different places into different places, and it will go where it is wanted. Hence why you've got to start to develop this prosperous mindset around money. Whereas if money is a problem to you and you're annoyed about it, you're going to push it away. So being grateful is the key. I say to those clients who are looking more clients, when's the last time you sat down and were so grateful for the clients that you already have? When's the last time you were really grateful for all the things that you have? The air that you have? Our biggest problem is that we focus on what we don't have. And we forget to harness what we already do. The real key to attracting wealth, money, prosperity into your life is to think abundance. Now, even if you're getting a pile of bills out into the post, and there's a bill for this, and there's a bill for that, and a bill for that, there's still an abundance of bills. And if you just changed how you thought about it and how you felt about it, you would start to change your situation. If you can start to tune your mind to thinking abundance, you could go out into the garden and you could see an abundance of leaves right now falling off the trees. You could see an abundance of grass. If we could just focus on abundance rather than lack, you would, by universal principles, and there is a science to this, Money will flow to you if you have an abundant mindset. If you look for the good instead of focusing on the bad. If you start to think abundance instead of lack. Like just that, if you just take that out of tonight, you'll already see shifts. And the lovely thing is, when I say that there's an abundance of bills coming in, you just change it in your mind and say it's an abundance of checks coming in. Now, some people, if this is your first masterclass, you might be thinking, this girl has no idea what she's talking about. She wants me to pretend that the tax bill is a check. Yeah, I do. Do you know why? Because your subconscious mind, and you have a subconscious mind, it does not know what is in that envelope. It'll only know what you tell what it is. So if you see a bill and you go, oh no, that bill's just come in, then you've just sent to your subconscious a little message of lack, of fear, of worry. And that actually changes the energy in which you operate with. I'm going to go a wee bit deeper into this as we go on, but already you should be starting to realize that the amount of money that you attract into your life will be in direct reflection to you being in harmony with the money that you want. And you cannot think lack and attract abundance. That's literally the science. So that's very important. The next myth is, I mentioned this earlier, you've got to be smart and work hard. How many people have heard that, who have maybe practiced that for years, maybe decades? Maybe you heard just like what I heard, was that you've got to be really smart to do well. That is not true. That is just absolutely not true. Napoleon Hill talks about it in Think and Grow Rich. He says, perish the thought if you think working hard is the way to riches. I worked way harder when I was a nurse than what I do now. So I now work less and I earn more. Because I decided I was going to change that belief that you have to be smart and you've got to work hard. I really didn't enjoy school. Dyslexic, not good at math, just about scraped a C pass grade level. I did not enjoy school. I did not think I was smart. In fact, I thought I was a bit of a weirdo, kind of different to everybody else. And I was right. I am very different to everybody else. But the actual truth is, we're all different. And because we don't understand why we're different, what do? We try to blend in. We try to be like everybody else. And that is so exhausting. You can't be anybody else than who you are. And that's why one of the key things that I'm always teaching my clients when they come to work with me is figuring out who you are. If you knew what I knew about you, you would live your life differently. You'd make different decisions. You would have different standards for yourself. You would charge your worth. How many people here are in a business service and you do not charge your worth? It's one of the biggest questions I get asked. I don't know what to charge. You charge based on the value that the customer receives. And if you don't believe in yourself enough and love what you do, then you probably won't be charging your worth. Now, I mentioned something really key there. Do you love what you do? How you spend your days? I would say, if I'm guessing, there's quite a few people in here and you're maybe in a job or a career and you're just not loving it. Let's be honest. You kind of don't really know how you got into it. It just kind of happened, because who knows when they're teenager what they're supposed to do. And you either be guided by a counselor in school, they don't really know either. Maybe your parents really wanted you to go down a certain route. But nobody at that age really stopped and said, what do I really desire for my life? I went into nursing for the absolute two pure reasons, and these are awful reasons, so I apologize, but that's true. Number one, I got to escape home. I got to move to the city. Number two, I knew that I loved helping people. So the only box that really that fitted into was a nurse. And that's when, and I'm so grateful for those years being a nurse, never would change that because I learned so much and I was technically always on the right path because it was leading me to what I do now. But how many people right now, maybe it's yourself, and you just don't like what you're getting up to do every day. And then we say, well, someone's got to pay the bills. We've all these little slogans. Again, it's affirming, I've got bills. I have to do this. Well, you know what I believe? I believe that you were not put onto this earth to just get a job, pay your bills, pay your taxes, and then move on to your next journey. I do not believe that one bit at all. I believe that every single one of us have a purpose. There's a reason that you're here. I think even if you don't know what that purpose is, you can feel it even as I said. There is a part within every single one of us knows that there's something else, that there's more. You wouldn't be on this masterclass if you did not want more. But why is it that when you think about wanting more, you feel bad? A lot of us feel bad for wanting more. A lot of us wouldn't even share it with some of our best friends or our partner that we want more. And you got to ask, why do I feel that way? Because it doesn't feel good. Sometimes people say to me, but Kim, when will it ever be enough? Sometimes even my own parents will say that to me. And I say it's always enough, but why would I stop? Everybody wants more life. Everybody wants increase. Do you know that it is an inherent part of your spiritual DNA that you desire more? When you go to the gym, you want to perform better. You never go to the gym and think, well, I'm going to try and lift less. You're always wanting improvement in every area of your life. But then we have this feeling of guilt, feeling of, but maybe that should do. The only reason that I go after goals is because I understand that to bring my potential to the surface, I must have a goal. A goal is never to get. I don't do the things that I do to get money. Actually, money's really boring. I go and achieve things, set goals, because I'm going to become a better person. I'm going to grow as an individual. And by growing and reaching goals, then the byproduct of that is getting things or having more money. Now, if you try to chase money, you'll never catch it. You've got to decide that you want to spend your life living it the way you really want to live it. If you're getting up in the morning and you're dreading going to work, then you're not in love with what you do. And you know what? You're not going to have fun. You're not going to be in a great feeling place. And then whatever it is that you do, and it could be any industry, any vocation, whatever, you're not going to be good at it. You might pass, you might tick all the boxes, but you are no way near reaching your potential. So that's why you're never going to attract more money through that vehicle, because you've got to love what you do. And when you fall in love with what you do, then earning money is the easiest thing in the world. But not many people know what they would love to do. And that's why I keep bringing it back to, it's about developing you. This is called the science of becoming rich. You become it. You realize it. And that, like, you're trading your life for what you do every single day. And then you really got to step back and ask, is this working? And maybe you're trying different things, you're taking different approaches on the outside, but the bottom line is the bottom line changing? And it perhaps is not. So working hard doesn't work, okay? We're seeing that all over. Burnout, sickness rates going up, people not wanting to go back into the office after everything that's happened in the last few years. People are frustrated, confused, tired, and dare I say it, sick. And it's all because of the root cause of fear. Do you know how many people, actually think it's the number one topic of arguments, especially in relationships, money. It's the number one problem when it comes to employers. People don't want to go into work, they ring in sick. It's everywhere. And if you're worrying about money, then that worry is very detrimental to your health. And then that's very detrimental to your relationships. So you can see how all of these factors are so importantly linked. So you do not need to work hard and you do not need to be smart. I'm not that smart, but I'm really good at what I do because I fell in love with what I do. I specialized in what I do. But I was not smart. Richard Branson, so many people that you know who have created incredible things, and yet they have very little education. So remove that myth. You do not need another piece of paper to tell you that you can do more. You are born to do more. And here's the truth. Because your energy and because you are always for growth and expansion, if you're not setting goals and you're not growing, you're putting the energy back inwards. That means you start to depress the energy. You start to get sad. You start to get depressed. You start to get sick. You're spinning the weights. You're spinning the plates. You're managing everything. It's react, respond. When are you going to draw a line in the sand? When are you going to sit down and actually ask yourself, what do I really want? Because this is just getting more and more of the same. Okay. Now, if I move on to the 3 keys that I want to share with you. So we talked about the myths. Hopefully you've already taken some notes and realized, yeah, I actually have some of these thinking beliefs that are holding me back. Now I want to talk to you about, number 1, understanding what money is and how it operates. Okay. And everything that I'm giving you tonight, it's giving you more of an awareness of what money is. We've talked about what money isn't. Now we're going to talk about what it is. Now, I already said you go right through education and we're never taught what money is. So I want you to ask yourself, and you can take this note down in your notepad, what is money? Really ask yourself, if somebody asked you, what is money? What would your answer be? Okay. Now I'm going to treat you like you know nothing. Okay. Because there's going to be people on here that have heard of this and there'll be people that haven't. Again, it will all come back to what do you have, and then it will actually tell you what your understanding is. Number 1, if you look it up on Google, it will say it's a medium of exchange. Okay, people have put that in the chat. Yes, you're completely correct. It is a medium of exchange. It's basically when we say, okay, I'm going to give you this, and you're going to give me this back, right? And essentially, when you actually really look at the medium of exchange, that's almost a thing. Well, the polar opposite to that, what is actually money, is energy. So how do we deem what something costs? It's the perception of value. What is perception? It's not a thing. It's energy. It's how much you think or believe this is worth. Okay? Now I want you to write that down. Money is energy. That is without a doubt probably the one most important thing that Bob taught me that I did not know. Now, my next question to Bob was, okay, well, that's great, but what's energy? And I know that sounds like a pretty simple question, but help me understand, what do you mean money is energy? Like, what is energy? And he says, well, Kim, energy, just like many of you will have been taught in science, energy cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed. Okay, we all did learn that in science. Energy cannot be created and it cannot be destroyed. It moves from one form to another. Energy just is. It's whatever you make it. Now, the other thing that he said is, and I've already said it, 100% evenly present in all places at all time. Can't be created, can't be destroyed. So everything is available right now. Now, this is huge when we're thinking about physical money, because we operate in a world where pretty much, again, 97% of the population believe there's only a certain amount of money. And when you believe that there is only a certain amount, do you know what happens? We then say, okay, well, I'll have that bit and they'll have that bit. And oh no, they got too much and I've got too little and they're not sharing theirs. And huge arguments come out. People then kill to bring more money. And there's so much, just even in our world right now, good and bad, happening because they think there is only a limited supply. But if you think about energy, energy is infinite. So what I'm trying to get you to understand is there isn't this limited supply. There is no limited supply. There is an infinite, invisible supply. Now, because many people don't know that, then we operate from this place of lack. This is why when we get some money, we're desperate to keep it. We don't freely give or share money because, well, I've now got this amount. How many people have saved for a rainy day? Well, you're just going to attract rain. We operate from a place of lack most of the time. But when you develop your understanding that there is no lack, and again, that's a big concept. That takes a lot more of me teaching you for you to really believe and accept that. So I don't expect you to totally accept it right now. But just what if I was correct? Wouldn't that change how you go about your decisions and how you do things? Wouldn't you have less worries, less doubts? Wouldn't you start to step out on your ideas? Because that's the only lack that I will agree with. That there is a lack of ideas. There is a lack of thinking. Ideas is where money comes from. If you got a rich idea, you're going to have riches. Everything that has ever been created in this whole world since the beginning of time, where do you think it's all come from? Where do you even think all the money, like we'll talk about the physical money, if we were to look up how much money is in the world today, it would give us a figure. Where did that all come from? Why does it keep growing every single year? Is somebody shipping it in from outer space? No. So how is it that every single year there is more money in the world? Where is it coming from? It's coming from people developing rich ideas and moving it into physical form. How did someone like me with no business education, no major skill set, barely count, how did someone like me go from £4.20, was not given money, was not given loans, did not get a credit card, turn £4.20 into tens of millions that I've generated in my businesses? How does that happen? Seriously, I'm from the smallest little tiny island in Northern Ireland. I'm just, honestly, I am the most ordinary person, but I get extraordinary results because I started to understand that money is energy, mind is energy. And when you think about the money that you want and feel good about it, you will start to open up yourself to ideas. Now, I will tell you one myth that I do believe in. Money does not just fall from the sky. You cannot, and if anyone teaches you that you just close your eyes and go, money, 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 that money's going to come. No. But it starts with an idea. It starts with a desire. You got to first want money. You got to first decide what the money's for. And then you got to come up with ideas in which you could implement to provide service or value, which will then bring money back to you. That's all I've ever done, is I've just thought about rich ideas, which then I move into physical form. Now, for some of you, you'll be thinking, okay, but I don't have any ideas, or I don't know what to do. And that is a bigger conversation, because you do have ideas. You've just told yourself enough times that you don't. And you've just conditioned your money magnet to I don't know. Or you've been so stuck in the I earn money through my job. But there's other ways to earn money. This is the beautiful thing that I didn't understand. Now, I think the next thing that most people do is they go out and look for other ways to earn money. And then they start all these different businesses and they've got lots going on. And you don't even have the time to do it all. And you don't really know what you're doing. If you are going out to try and create more money in your life, you've got to stop looking for strategies. You've got to stop just trying every opportunity, every hole in the hedge. I've no doubt many of you want to earn more money, and you probably get messages on Facebook and Instagram, and you can do this and earn this, and it's lovely, and I'm sure you can, but you're not going to do it until you change the thinking behind the strategy. It is your mind and how you think attached to a strategy that will either make it work or not work. How many businesses or organizations do you see where there's a top 3% winning all of the time? If you're in a sales organization or you're part of a network marketing company or whatever it may be, there's always these high flyers. And they're doing the same thing with the same people selling the same product. They've had the same sales training, they've sat in the same Zoom meetings, and you're doing all the same and you're not getting the results. Why? What is that? It's your mindset. Do you know that there's a part of your mind? This blew me away when I first understood it. There is a part of my mind that controls, like a sat nav or like a thermostat in a house, controls the amount of money that I earn. Like, your mind is not called mindset for the fun of it. Your mind is set. My mind, my financial thermostat, was always set to 35,000 a year. And no matter what else I did, extra jobs, extra shifts, that's what I usually came in. I then realized you can change the thermostat. Now, I want you to just think of this for a second. Has there ever been a time in your life where you have maybe, let's say, brought in extra money? You got a tax rebate, you got a bonus, you had a birthday, whatever it may be. You've brought in extra money that's not normally there. And this little temperature gauge, we'll call it a financial thermostat. Let's say you're programmed to earn whatever you earn. So whatever you normally earn every single month, that's where you're set, right? You've all heard of a spirit level. Now let's say all this money comes in and suddenly this goes off kilter, and there's like a little warning that goes, okay, more money has come in. You're now out of balance. You're now not set where you're normally set. Do you know what happens? The tires need change, the kids need uniform, an unexpected house insurance bill comes in, whatever it is, something happens and the money is used. Can you agree? Type yes into the chat box. Or maybe you've heard the little saying, it burns a hole in your pocket. You go out and spend it, or some way, and people are saying yes, in some way the money goes. And then there's a month, and you're again sitting and you're coming to the end of the month and you don't have enough. You're off kilter again. And the message that's going through the mind and through the body and through everything is there's not enough money. And something happens within you, and you either kick in and you do extra in your job or in your business, or something happens. And I don't know, we could use a million different examples, but something happens that you always have enough. Has that ever happened to anybody? Type a yes into the chat box. Now, I know, and we're seeing yeses, I know that you can all relate to this. Now, what that is the same as is if you have a temperature thermostat in your home, and let's say you've set the room to be at 24 degrees. You've went in, you've programmed it to 24 degrees, and it's sitting at 24 degrees. And then maybe you're like my little dogs, they walk into a room and they don't shut the door. They can open it, but they never shut it. And then the wind comes in or it cools down. The thermostat notices, oh, we've dropped to 22. It switches on the boiler and brings it back up to 24. Okay. That same mechanism is built into your mindset. You have this financial thermostat that you are set to earn what you've always earned. And sometimes you'll gain more, but you'll find a way to bring yourself back into balance. And sometimes there won't be enough, but something will happen to bring you back into balance. But rest assured, you're always in and around this normal amount. Now, if you're happy with that amount, great. But if you're not happy with that amount, we should change it. Now, again, just like the thermostat in your house, sometimes we go along and we hit the boost button, and that gives us a couple of hours of extra heat. Well, how do we relate this to business or to life? That's when you know at the final hour, you've got to be the little duck under the water and pedal, 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 pedal. Whoo, if you want to be in it. Right? And we've all done this. But that's exhausting. That's not fun whatsoever. And it just gets you to where you've always been. So it's not, you're putting in all this extra energy, but you're still not really making a huge quantum leap. Now, that is definitely what's causing a lot of frustration, confusion, burnout, failed marriages, sickness. It's unbelievable what this impact is on your life. And yet all we have been failed to be told is that you can rewire the programming. You don't have to keep getting up and hitting the boost button. You could just change the temperature of how you want life to be. And in order to do that, you've got to understand the mind. You've got to understand how to rewire your thinking. Ever wonder why people who win the lottery, when they win the lottery, suddenly they're not programmed to earn millions. They're not programmed to operate with millions. They're not programmed to think like a millionaire. And then they earn all these millions. And you hear, unfortunately, somewhere down the line, they've either lost it or it's gone or whatever. You cannot keep money if you are not programmed at that level. So this is why I'm saying, especially if you are in business, if you're using the method of just go, 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 go to hit a target, you're always going to be going to keep it. And that's not sustainable. Whereas you can start to really study your mind, invest in your mind, and learn how you can change your thinking at a subconscious level, because that's where all of our results come from. As I said earlier, you don't just think money and then it's there. You got to think it, you got to believe it, and then you have got to act from that belief. How many people here tonight, you have a product or a service or an idea and you believe in it, or you really want to create a goal or step up and do something, but there's a big bungee cord at your back that says, but how are you going to do this? How are you going to do that? What if it doesn't work? What will other people think? A whole host of buts come. Well, the but is what's holding you back. This is what we call a paradigm. You maybe don't have the confidence to go and step on the opportunity that has always been there, that is right in front of you. Maybe you're even wanting to attract not just money, maybe wanting to attract the love of your life. Well, here's the big thing. You attract into your life who you are, not what you want. Maybe some of you are wanting to attract high quality paying clients into your business. But if I was to have a casual conversation with you, you might be telling me all about, oh, it's really hard at the minute and I can't do this. And, people just don't want to do anything or pay anything. And you might tell me a whole big story of why it's not working for you, or why you can't, or why it's difficult. Well, that's why your mind is like a magnet. Write this down. What you give focus and attention to, or where focus and attention goes, more energy flows. What you give attention to, what you allow your mind to dwell on. And if you're dwelling on the lack, if you're dwelling on what you don't have, and you're giving mental energy, thought is energy. Whatever you give energy to expands is another fundamental law of science. Have you ever given any thought to what you want? I was coming home in a taxi. It must be a couple of months ago. I don't often get taxis, but I was in a taxi and the guy was bringing me home. And of course, he just offered his information of how miserable his life was, pretty much. And he was just telling me about how hard things were and how difficult it is. And, interest rates are going up and this is bad and this is bad and this is awful. And it's all their fault. And how could they do that? And I mean, I was just sitting there going, wonderful. How did I attract this? Interesting. So I was sitting there and I was just listening. And I let him talk. And then I said, how much time have you actually thought about earning more money? Well, I honestly thought he might crash because he was not expecting me to say that. And he just kind of went quiet. And I said it again. How much time do you give thinking about earning more money? I hear you. You need more money. I got it. So what are you doing about it? Like, what are you thinking about? What would you like? What would you want to do? And this was totally bamboozling, as I would say here. Totally confused the man. And the greatest lesson, and you'll find it in any of these books, Napoleon Hill said it, if you do not see riches in your imagination, you will never see them in your bank account. Most people are giving attention to what they do not want and wondering why it keeps showing up. So then the question is, what is it that you actually want? Think about that for a second. What are you giving attention to? What do you actually really want? Now I'm going to show you a picture to get you to understand this. And will not take too much more of your time, but I think this will really help you think about what you want and also put into more understanding what I've been sharing with you tonight. Now, I want to share with you what you and money are all about. This is going to take me a couple of minutes. Stay to the end because I've got something that is definitely going to be something that you want and need. A lot of people, even as I've shared tonight, your mind, subconscious mind, your mind's a magnet. It can be a wee bit overwhelming and sound a little bit out there when you don't fully get it. And the truth is, your mind operates in images. So I want to draw for you pretty much everything I've already said. Now, the first thing that I want to introduce you to is your mind. Okay? That large circle is your mind. And your mind is broken up into two parts. You have a mind that thinks and you have a mind that feels. Your thinking mind, this part up here, is called your conscious mind. The emotional feeling part of your mind is called the subconscious. Okay, so we're not going to do any big, huge, complicated language here. We're going to make this simple. You have a mind Okay, whether you believe me or not, you do have one. And at all times during the day, you have thoughts, you have feelings, and you take actions. So this is really something that none of us can really get away from. You're always thinking, feeling, and taking actions. Now, the conscious part of your mind, as I say, this is where you think. And you can either think, I'm sure this isn't new information, you can either think negatively, we'll call that lack, or you can think in a positive way, okay? And we're going to call that abundance. Now, you all know somebody who the glass is half full or half empty, right? This is the mindset that we're talking about tonight. If you want to understand the science of becoming rich, this is it. Your mind is energy. We've also said money is energy. Now, one of the things that I haven't mentioned, because we got to go into it a lot more in depth, is energy, whatever form it is, operates by universal laws. Okay? The sound from my voice going into the computer, going through the ether, being picked up by your computer, being translated by your eardrums, that is energy moving. Okay? That's called the transmutation of perpetual energy. Big fancy word. You don't need to worry about that at the moment, right? But energy is thoughts. You have thought energy. And I've already mentioned to you that thoughts become things. Okay? So we think, we feel, and we take actions. Now, there's one big major thing that we haven't talked about: results. You get results in life. Now, tonight we're talking about money. So you look at your money, you look at your bank account, you look at your current results, and you ask yourself, do I like them or do I not? I'm going to imagine many of you are going, no, I'd like to improve them, please. Now, if you want to improve them, you need to first ask yourself, well, how did I get those results? And this is where the science comes in, because whether it's becoming rich, whether it's becoming successful, whatever it is that you want to attract in your life, love, relationships, money, it all happens by universal law, which is a science. Thoughts turn into things. Everything that is a thing was first an idea. That's why I said you want to start to think about rich ideas that will turn into a rich income. So my question to you was, where do these results come from? Well, you have also got little senses: sight, hearing, taste, touch, and smell. And you're operating with them all day, every day. And let's just say we talk about sight. You sometimes see your results, whether it's in your relationship, in your bank balance, in your business. And you look at these results and you go, they're not great. And you think, obviously, negatively about your results. Now, that negative thought is energy, and energy must move. That is a fundamental scientific principle. Energy doesn't sit still, it moves. So what happens when you think about what you don't have? You feel pretty rubbish. The thought energy moves into emotion. Now, just so that you can really remember this: emotion, energy in motion. So now this negative energy, what you're feeling now, you're feeling maybe sleepless nights, maybe you're feeling worried, whatever it may be, that feeling must also move, and it goes to the body. And then you go into work the next day, or you take action in your business, but the action that you're taking, because action is important, you're actually taking it with a negative energy at the back of it. So this is why I said there could be loads of people winning, but it's always a minority. And then there's loads of people not winning. The only difference with the people at the top that are winning is not just in what they're doing, it's how they're doing it. It's their energy and attitude. If you go out and take action with a negative energy, one again, another fundamental law of the universe is the law of cause and effect. You might have heard it like karma: what around comes around. So whatever you put out into the world must come back. And then what happens is you get more of the same. And this is a self-fulfilling prophecy. And this is going round and round and round. And oh, then you switch on the news and more negative information comes into your consciousness. Or you bump into Joe Blogs and he's not a happy chappy and he starts to tell you why it's really awful and terrible. And what happens is more negative energy comes in, you're starting to feel worse, and the negative energy is going out. Sometimes it might be that bad that you don't take any action. Maybe you procrastinate. Maybe you don't have the confidence. So you actually take no action. Well, even if you take no action, you're still putting out this negative energy and you're still going to attract it. This is how the science of becoming rich is. It's whatever you are feeling, whatever the energy is behind any given topic, that will dictate what you're attracting and not attracting. So the question to you is, what are you thinking in reference to money? And you got to be honest with yourself. If I was to really, if I could, I'd love to be able to do this, but I can't. But if I was able to scan you and say, okay, across this last, let's say, month, have you been thinking more positively about money and prosperity and abundance and things working out for you and it's all good? Or would the scales tip more into thoughts of lack? Don't have enough. How am I going to do this? All of that stuff. I want you to really think about that. Think of it like a set of scales. Okay. Has it been more predominantly on the lack, or has it been more predominantly on the abundance? Like, even when I just say money, what's your first thought? What you think about money really matters. Then the question is, when we talk about money, how does it make you feel? Without a doubt, I talked about that thermostat, that self-image. This part of your mind controls the habits and beliefs that you have about anything. Okay, your subconscious mind, this part in here. This is what controls your habits and your beliefs. So we talked about the habit of what you think of self. Like, are you in that habit of thinking good about yourself? Are you in the habit of taking goal achieving activities every day? Are you in that, if you're in sales, are you in the habit of selling? Do you have success habits? Or are your habits maybe procrastination? One of the most major negative habits that holds most people back. Do you know, when you procrastinate, that is because you cannot make decisions. Being able to make a decision is the opposite of procrastination. Now, the only reason I think people can't make decisions is because they don't really trust themselves. And then when we go and we ask somebody else, what do you think we should do? And then you gather all these opinions that now you're even more confused that you just probably don't do anything. And it's all because you don't trust you, because you don't really know who you are. And that's where it all goes wrong. What if you could just start to believe in yourself? What if you started to believe that you are worthy? That's probably one of the biggest beliefs that is holding you back in regards to money. You don't think you're worthy of it. Where did that come from? Who did you pick that up from? Why did you accept that? You could totally and utterly change that by just discovering who you are. Then you would start to charge your worth, and then you'll start to attract people that are just like you. I mentioned to you that you attract who you are. So let's just say you're in sales or in business of any description. If you procrastinate, if you don't invest, if you're not feeling worthy, do you know what you're going to attract? People that don't make decisions and who don't feel worthy to invest. That's not a great prospect. That's going to be hard work. And you probably never even get around to talking about the sale because you feel really uncomfortable when it gets to that part of the conversation. You're super excited about the product or service that you deliver. You're really good at explaining it, but oh, when you get to that part of talking to the money, oh, I'll just send you that in an email. And you cop out. A lot of people do that. Or you might work for a huge corporation and you are incredible at selling for a company, but maybe when you step out on your own, you've totally forgotten how to sell. Well, it's not that you've forgotten how to sell, you're now selling you. And it all comes back to confidence. Let me know in the chat box if this is making sense. So there's a sat nav within your subconscious mind right here, and it's controlling everything. Now, one more little thing, and let's just recap. In order for you to create an abundant mindset, you've obviously got to start to think positively. And what does that mean? You've got to ask yourself, what do I want? Do you know most people that don't have the money that they really want, when I ask them how much money do you want, they cannot tell me. So if I was to ask you, what do you want? What would your answer be? You've got to be able to give a specific answer. You've got to start to get really clear on what you want and, most importantly, why you want it. You've got to understand that there is a desire behind riches. If you just want money to have more money or to look like you're doing really good to impress someone else, that's not going to work. But if you have a desire for money because it's going to help you live a more fulfilled life, travel where you want to live, go where you want to go, wear what you want to wear, live in the house of your dreams, care for the people in your family, give to people in your community. If you have a strong why, and it is backed by love, because love is the most important thing, then you're going to find it so much easier. If you have love for yourself, if you have this positive habits, positive beliefs, and it's backed by love, now you're going to move equally that energy into form. You're going to have more actions. You're going to take aligned actions. You're going to start doing things that you really want to do. Most people, the energy that is flowing to and through them, and energy operates on frequencies. There's negatives and there's positives. It's your thoughts that dictate. And if you don't know anything about the mind, you can probably resonate with this. You've good days, bad days, good days, bad days, good days, bad days. Anybody relate to that? Some days are good, some days are not. Well, that's because you had positive thoughts and you had negative thoughts and you had positive thoughts and you had negative thoughts. Your thinking was all over the place. Why? Because you've no clarity about who you are, where you're going. You're just living each day as it comes. You're just trying to get through the day. You're not clear on what you really want to do with your life. You haven't then built the right success habits that are going to help you achieve that. You haven't built in the right belief system that is going to make you go and do what you need to do. This top part of your mind controls 2 to 4% of what you actually do in life. Your subconscious mind controls 96 to 98%. You can see which is the bigger factor on what you actually do in life. It's not what you know. It's what you do. And right now we're living in a world where not many people are doing what they want to do, or doing what they're supposed to do, or knowing what they know to do. Everyone on this call actually already knows how to do better in their finances, but you're not doing what you know. Why? Because the subconscious mind is in control. These paradigms, these habits and beliefs are making you go up and down and up and down. Like right now, I was talking to somebody the other day and they said, Kim, we're in an awful time at the minute. We're in this real low place. It's awful. And I said, okay, well, actually, this is called the law of rhythm. And the law of rhythm decrees that there are seasons, just like in nature. There's sometimes an abundance of leaves in the trees, and then there's a time when all the leaves fall off. Now, can you imagine if nature got on like us human beings? When the trees suddenly lose all their leaves, they go into complete panic and think they're naked and are totally terrified. Like nature thankfully doesn't do that. Nature knows there's a time when I have an abundance of leaves and there's a time when I don't. But I also know that that will change. This too shall pass. If we just look back in history books, there has been recessions, there's been booms, there's been ups, there's been downs. If you just look at the stock exchange, it looks kind of like that. Sometimes it's really up, sometimes it's really down. This is called the law of rhythm. There is no escaping it. Now, if you have adopted an abundant mindset by changing your habits and beliefs, by working on that subconscious mind, and you need a plan, you need a mentor to do that. If you spend time doing that, do you know what you should be doing in the low times? Because not every month is going to be the best month. There's going to be months where you don't do as good, but there's going to be months you do better. The question is, what are you thinking and what are you doing in this period where there's maybe not as much abundance? Are you thinking about the abundance that is to come? Are you preparing yourself for the abundance to come? Do you know, often we hear people say, I just don't have enough time. I just don't have enough time. And then maybe when business is a bit, less business and they've got more time, they spend the whole time worrying about that there's no business. And I'm thinking, well, you've been asking for more time. Why don't you use that time to think and plan? Because I can tell you, abundance is coming back. Just like the ocean, it goes out. We don't panic if it's going to come back in. We know it always will, because that is universal law. That is why this is a science. You need to know how to think and operate in every season in life. My business will go up, my business will go down, but it's always moving progressively greater and greater and greater, because I understand what I need to be thinking and what I need to be doing. I have a goal that is backed on desire. Now, I've given you so many principles, so many things to think about tonight, and I want to leave off with that desire. Why do you want what you really want? Doing everything that I've achieved, and I've earned tens of millions, and I don't say that to brag or to boast or to impress you. But if I can do it, you can do it. That I definitely know. I'm not very big, not very smart, not very tall, not very old. And yet I've done things that most people would not do ever in a lifetime. And I'm only getting started. And you know what drives me every single day? Love. Love is the level of vibrational energy. Love is the most important. You got to love what you do every day. You've got to love yourself. You've got to love the people around you. And if you are really to live a life of truth, of love, of expansion, of experience, then you're going to need money. And you need to know how much that is. So I don't want you to go off this call and start to think, okay, what do I want to earn? I want you to think, what do I want to do? How do I want to live? Do you want to build a dream home? Do you want a holiday home? Do you want to be able to have more time with your kids? Do you want to be able to have great health, great relationships? Never have to worry about money again. Like, just think about that. If money was not an issue or a problem, what would be different in your life? If you had unlimited abundance, what would you do? What would you create? Life would be so different. I've been able to do things now for my family, some incredible things that I don't always share, but have literally changed the trajectory of my family's life. I've been able to help my mum with healthcare and different things like that that we had been waiting a long time for. But because I had money, I was able to do that. Money is just a tool. It gives you freedom, it gives you choices. Now, if you have been sitting on this masterclass and you're thinking, do you know what, this resonates, then I want you to really listen to what I'm about to say. I love what I do, if you haven't already guessed. I am the best in the world at teaching this. And I do it in a very simple way. But I really have been called to put on these teachings because I really, really believe this shouldn't just be for the 3%. I really believe that every single person should know this information. We're not taught it and we should be. But I also know that this is the time in the world where people have never needed this more. This is literally like the most important thing that you learn. It might be, you might be the only person that learns it in your family. You might be the only person that can teach it to your kids because they're not going to get taught it in school. Now, if you're sitting in here and you are one of our source members, I've got some really exciting news. I'm going to be putting on a very unique and special workshop where I'm going to deliver 5 sessions. Now, I've only given you a part of a session tonight. You didn't have to pay 1 penny for it because I believe everyone should hear this. I believe everybody can do it. Whether you believe it or not right now, that's on you, but I know you can. And I just want you to borrow that belief. I am putting on an exclusive 5-part masterclass very shortly. And I am spending the whole 5 days breaking down pretty much what I shared with you tonight, but going into way more detail. How do you actually think differently? How do you actually change those habits and beliefs? How is that actually costing you day in, month out, year out? How do you actually come up with an idea? How do you actually think and define your goals? So if you're one of our source members, I am very excited to say that this is all within your membership, and I'm going to be putting on 5 incredibly packed days. The first day we're going to be talking about your mindset, all this mental magnet, how to really tap in and change and up level your thinking from lack to abundance. I'm actually going to give you a bonus section every single day. Now, the good thing is this is not 5 full days. You're looking at about an hour and a half for each session. Now, as you can see, I pack in a lot of value, but I want to break it all down. I want to talk about your mindset. I'm going to come in and do a separate session around the millionaire mindset, if anyone's interested in that. I'm going to talk about how to attract riches, use the law of attraction properly. Many people are using this against them. I want to talk about your thermostat, really start to get you to understand it's what you think of you. Pull that all apart so you can attract high quality ideas, clients, resources, whatever it may be that you need. I'm also going to do a very special session. Me and Lindsay are going to do a session on relationships, love, and money, because that is a really important topic, how you start to work with your partner on this. Now, I've got loads in there and I'll explain a bit more in a second. If you are not a source member, number one, why not? Being a part of the source is the best one place to get all your personal development needs. But if you are not, I am giving you an exclusive opportunity of joining us for the 5-day Science of Becoming Rich workshop. And you have an opportunity now. I would love, and as I say, I think this is such an important thing that we should be learning together. And I want to be there for you. I want this to be interactive. I want to answer your questions. I want to give you questions. I want you to take 5 days, not a full day, but just maybe an hour and a half each day. Spend it with me in 5 consecutive days, and you are going to have an almighty abundance shift. Would you like to be a part of that? Our source members get it as part of their membership, but if you are not already a member, then yes, I want you to come to the Science of Becoming Rich workshop. I'm about to drop the link into the chat box. You will also see the link below this video if you're watching inside the source. This is your opportunity to unlock 5 incredible sessions. It's actually 10 because I'm doubling up each day. As I said, the first day is all going to be about your money mindset. What do you need to think? What are the success habits? how do you reprogram old conditioned patterns of thinking to abundance and prosperity. In the evening time, I'm going to come back and teach you my personal millionaire mindset kind of key points of what I've learned earning tens of millions. Then the next day, we're going to be talking about desire. I want to actually sit down and get you to really think. This is giving you the opportunity to step out of your normal life and really go, what actually do I really want? I'm going to ask you specific questions in a specific way that's going to cultivate those ideas. Many of us do not spend any time investing our thoughts. We spend our thoughts by thinking lack. I want you to spend them investing. So we're going to break down your goal so that you know what you're going after. That evening, we're going to invite you into one of our client calls so you can hear the wins firsthand, because I can say this works and I've done it with thousands of people, but I want you to actually hear about other ordinary people having extraordinary results. On the third day, then we're going to be talking about that financial thermostat, really getting into that sat nav, how we reprogram so it's at a higher level. I said I was programmed at 35,000 a year. All I did was reprogram it. And I know sometimes that sounds really out there, but it's true. I'm literally physical proof. My clients are physical proof. So I'm going to share how you can upgrade your financial thermostat so that you start to attract things with ease. No more reacting to life, but starting to learn to respond. On that night, that's when love, money, relationships is going to happen. And then on the next day, we're going to talk about the law of attraction, get more into the laws of how you can attract ideas, opportunities, people, whatever it is that you need to fulfill your goal. We're going to make a plan, because it is great to be motivated on these calls, but motivation is short-lived. We want to inspire you. We want to give you the opportunity to ask me questions and really make a plan. Then we're going to have also, if I can remember, fear. We're going to talk about how to move from fear to faith so that you can have fulfillment. Because again, money doesn't make you happy, it just makes you more of who you are. So if you're wanting to create more calmness of mind, more serenity, have fulfillment and joy in your life, then that is going to be the absolute day for you. And then we have a few bonuses. If you make a decision now, and I want you to make the decision right now, if I've given you value tonight, I haven't charged a penny, but if you have resonated with what I've said, if it has made in any way, shape, or sense a bit of sense, then please make the decision right now. Click that link. Come and join me. I am not asking for a huge investment for this, because I believe everyone should have it. But my goodness, what it will reward you with. The return on investment is absolutely huge. All the details of when it is, what it is all in the link. So please go right now, click that link, join, and all your questions will be answered there. Also know that you're going to have support from my team. And as I said, there is a couple of bonuses. One of the bonuses is you're going to have a Bob Proctor Masterclass on the science of getting rich. So actually, Bob gave me the most incredible recording before he passed, and it is all designed towards money. So we're going to give you that as a bonus. You're going to have an opportunity to come on live here, ask me questions, and I will actually mentor you live here and answer your questions. Feedback is the most important aspect to making real change. I'm here, I'm very easy to talk to, I'm very approachable, so I'm going to give you my best answers to help you just shift into that next level. We're also going to give you a financial freedom kind of consultation call, where then after the 5 days, we get you on a call and we actually go through the map, we go through the plan, we get you set up towards making the right steps, thoughts, and actions towards your goal. And of course, you're going to have it all in replay. So you're going to have access to the source, you're going to have access to me, you're going to get content that is literally worth tens of thousands, and I'm going to do it all within 5 days. Now, I really think now, as you're moving into the next weeks, months, years, this is the time for you to take this seriously. So you are invited. As I say, if you're already a source member, then this will come. But if you're not, then this is your opportunity. These are the sorts of things that we're constantly providing here in Dynamite Lifestyle. And for such a small amount, I'm going to give you back tens of thousands in return. and that's where it gets fun. So I'm not going to leave any stone unturned. I'm going to lay it all out on the line. This is the first time we've done this in a very, very long time. And you're going to get everything. So yes, you will get into the source. As soon as you've paid, you'll have access to that. So even between now and the masterclass, you can come in, you can watch so much content of me if you haven't had enough of me tonight. You can do your gratitude, you can have a message from me every morning. We have developed the most incredible app. So please download the app, get the source from the Apple Store or Google. Watch out for any messages from my team. We're here to support you, not pester you. Okay, so don't AWOL us, don't pretend that you don't see the message. We just care about getting you to where you want to go. So the more that you put into this, the more you're going to get out. Now, let me know in the chat box if you have already sealed your ticket. I'm super excited for this particular event because it's one of my favorite topics and I always deliver more every single time. So good. I'm glad to see you're there. Excellent. Now, for tonight, I am done. I kept you a little bit longer than expected. Have you enjoyed tonight? Let me know in the chat box. Has it started to really get you to think differently and maybe realize that this goes a little bit deeper than what you first knew? Yes, good. All right. Well, I'm so glad to hear that. This is just a little skim of the top, guys. So join us on the Science of Becoming Rich workshop where we totally strip it all apart. We get to the foundation and the source of your success, and we give you the roadmap and the support and accountability to get you there. It has been an absolute pleasure being here with you all tonight. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Again, reach out to our team if you need us, and also watch this over and over and over again. There is so much potential within you. You were without a doubt born rich, and my job is just to help you develop that. I don't tell you what to think, I teach you how to think. All right? If I can do it, you can do it. Have a wonderful evening, and I